Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too want to congratulate all the nominees. Congratulations to your family. Welcome all of your family members. Mr. Morrissey, let me start with you. In 2013, you wrote an article about creating an effective corporate compliance and ethics program. And you stated individuals with substantial authority in the company cannot have a propensity to act criminally or unethically. Is that true?
Senator, it's been a while, but it sounds familiar, yes.
Okay. So do you think that principle should apply to government agencies and the public sector as well?
Senator, yes, I think tone from the top matters. That's often a principle in corporate compliance, which was what I was talking about there. And yes, I think commitment to the rule of law is even more important in public service.
So do you think taking money for promoting a fake tax shelter is unethical?
Camasac Holdings.
Senator, I think it's important for anyone to comply with all applicable tax laws.
Thank you. Ms. Dillon, let me jump back to you, and I want to talk about pension risk transfers and how you plan to approach them. And as you well know, it's a process where companies offload their pension obligations to third parties, typically an insurance company, and there have been a few lawsuits filed by plan participants over this matter because of concern about more risk for retirees. In the past, it is my understanding that the PBGC has taken a hands-off approach on this issue. So if confirmed, would you change any PBGC policy related to those pension risk transfers? And do you have any views on reporting and oversight requirements of group annuity contracts?
Well, thank you, Senator, for that question. The PBGC does not have the authority to stop these transfers. They're called standard terminations. The PBGC does audit a certain number of them every year, and if there are errors in the calculations, it pursues recovery on behalf of the beneficiary of those pension plans. But I think your question raises the broader issue of why is it that sponsors of single employer plans are employing pension risk transfer techniques. And I think there's a number of reasons, but one of those reasons, I think, is the size of the premiums that employers are paying on fully funded plans and where they make an economic decision to transfer these exposures to an insurance company or something of the like. When that happens, the PBGC no longer receives that premium on behalf of those participants. It also no longer has that liability on its books. But it is a phenomenon that you've identified that we are seeing growing in the defined pension space.
And because it is growing, do you see any concerns in the future, or is it something that you would look at through auditing purposes if you address some higher risk or concern?
Well, as I indicated, the pension benefit, the PBGC cannot stop these transfers. However, part of the PBGC's purpose as defined by ERISA is to promote defined benefit pension plans. And so the fact that plans are being transferred to insurance companies and the like is of concern. And again, I think there are a lot of reasons for it, but I think one of the reasons actually that the PBGC's pension advocate identified was the size of the premiums that employers are paying.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Mr. Barloon, as you know, last week, the U.S. Court of International Trade, as well as a second federal court, ruled that President Trump's IEEPA tariffs were illegal. And the government has appealed this decision at the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit. But if this decision is upheld, then President Trump would be legally obligated to remove his global blanket tariffs, including the tariffs he imposed on U.S. allies and partners with whom Trump himself signed trade agreements in his first term. If the court's decision is upheld on appeal, do you commit to follow the rule of law and support the removal of these IEEPA tariffs?
Thank you for that question, Senator. I believe that the president did have the authority to take the action that he took, but as you said, courts have ruled differently, and those decisions have been stayed, and there is an appeal. I certainly think we need to wait and see what the courts will do and follow those decisions.
But you would follow the ultimate decision of the courts?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.